Wow. I've been thinking a lot about that idea, that the universe isn't just like out there, but also somehow kind of in here with us and our consciousness playing a part. It just really blows my mind.
Oh, totally, Audrey. It's one of my absolute favorite rabbit holes. It all kicks off with something called the observer effect in quantum physics. Like those tiny particles, they just act differently when they're being measured. It's not just a scientific curiosity, it makes you think, is our consciousness actually shaping what we perceive? John Archibald Wheeler, he even calls it a participatory universe, suggesting we're like actively bringing reality into being just by looking. Wow. So you're saying it's not just a measurement device, but potentially our actual minds? I mean, mainstream science usually says it's just, any interaction, right? Exactly. That's the big debate. While many interpret it as any interaction, the philosophical implications for consciousness are super actively discussed. Some research does push the boundary, exploring if conscious observation can modify physics laws, though those claims are still pretty controversial.
Okay, so if observation matters, what about like connected minds? We hear about quantum entanglement, right? Could our brains, be entangled?
Oh, absolutely. That's where it gets even crazier, right? Entanglement, where two particles are instantly linked regardless of distance, really makes you wonder if minds could share a similar, deeper connection. People talk about collective consciousness as a potential explanation for, like, intuition. And then there's the ORCH-OR theory, orchestrated objective reduction, by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff. They suggest consciousness comes from quantum events in brain neurons and microtubules, which could even entangle across the cosmos. It implies a universal connection for subjective experience. Recent studies have even shown drugs affecting microtubules delay unconsciousness, bolstering their theory. It's wild.
Wait, so our actual brain cells are like tiny quantum computers? And that's how we connect universally? That's mind-blowing, Cheryl.
Yeah, totally. It's super groundbreaking, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Wow, okay, so we've got the observer effect, quantum entanglement in the brain. What else is out there connecting consciousness to reality? Any other big, like, overarching theories?
Oh, absolutely. There's Integrated Information Theory, or IIT, by Giulio Tononi. This one posits that consciousness is like a fundamental property of the universe, right up there with gravity, not just a byproduct of brain chemistry. It uses a mathematical model to explain why some systems are conscious, how much, and what their experience is like. It's all about the integration of information within a system, right? If a system has a high degree of differentiation and integration, it's considered conscious. It's pretty big in neuroscience, but it's also super controversial. Some critics call it unfalsifiable pseudoscience because, well, measuring its phi metric for integrated information is just like computationally impossible for a whole brain. That's a huge hurdle. Unfalsifiable.
So it's hard to prove or disprove?
That's a tricky one. Sounds like it needs a lot more development. But the idea that consciousness is fundamental, that's a game changer. Totally. That's the core, profound part of it, you know?
Okay, so from fundamental consciousness theories, what about the whole universe as a simulation idea? Where does that fit in?
Oh, totally. The simulation hypothesis suggests reality might be a program, with physics laws like code. If consciousness processes information, then it and quantum mechanics could be expressions of an underlying informational reality where consciousness is essential. The self-simulation hypothesis even proposes thoughts are fundamental. While it lacks empirical evidence and needs immense computational power, it really challenges traditional views. This all ties into the intersection of science and spirituality, you know? Max Planck, father of quantum physics, famously said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental." It's just, wow.
So the universe being in here really means like our consciousness is part of its very fabric? We're not just observing, but truly interconnected with everything?
Exactly. This idea that our consciousness can connect with the whole universe is super groundbreaking. It suggests a world picture in which we can be connected to the universe in a more natural and holistic way. The question, what if the universe isn't just out there, but also in here, is just so profound. Ongoing research is really challenging those traditional understandings. It's an exciting time to be curious, really.